Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to KBN Live. Ryan, we're back.
We're back. They thought we got canceled. We didn't. We're still here.
Yeah, man. Been gone for 2 weeks. I've taken it on the chin twice, 2 weeks in a row with the Buckeyes and Browns, taking a butt kicking on the weekend. So,
who were the Browns?
Yeah, I know. They had a winning season this year, man. Leave them alone.
All right. Congrats.
First time in since I was a child.
Don't call it a comeback.
That's right. Don't call it a comeback. But anyway, we're back. 2 weeks. We're back. A few people have been complaining. We appreciate you complaining. That means you cared, right?
Is that what it means? I thought it just meant they like to complain. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, man. It's been 2 weeks off, but we're back. We're going to get back after it. Season's up on us, so we'll have a lot to talk about. I know you've been a busy man. You was on Nike Live last night, man. That went really good.
Yeah, dude. I had a good time with those guys. They're a lot like us, except successful. So it's it's cool hanging out with them.
Yes, I don't know. I was in the comments a little bit, and I enjoyed being a podcast troller rather than the troll-e.
Yeah, I didn't have any of the comments pulled up, so I was trying to actually pay attention, and then I went back and read all the comments, and I was like, well, all right, at least everybody was in there.
Yeah, a bunch of folks from KBN jumped over there. That was cool. It was a fun time, and those guys seem genuinely interested in kayak fishing. Sound like Ike's going to do some stuff.
So I had heard rumor that he was going to kind of go hard on the kayak side this year, but that was the first confirmation I've gotten from him. So that's exciting news. I hope he makes the TOC. I'd love to see him down there. I hope somebody also tells him that there's not a shootout to get into the TOC, because he seemed to be leaning pretty hard on his shootout chances.
Yeah, Shane tried to correct him midstream last night, but I don't think he caught the
Every time Shane tries to get me midstream, it never ends well. So I just ignored that.
Right. But yeah, man, the season's here. I mean, coming up this weekend, we got the 7 KBF events going on. Really wouldn't have. I mean, seriously, but I really wouldn't have a whole lot of excitement about it, except for one thing: the legend Conrad Cornbread Spaghetti is going up against some actual live anglers, national type guys and girls that are traveling down there to fish against them. So I
feel like this is going to be an awakening for young Cornbread.
I don't know. I'm all excited to see, how he performs, and if he puts up against those guys, it's going to be sick. So
I think he'll catch him, man. I mean, he fishes his ass off down there. I have a hard time believing, he's not gonna put up a pretty decent bag.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even imagine what would happen if he does actually beat Russ Snyder's. We may have to bring him back on for that one.
Yeah, he'll definitely come in. The next step for him is going north of the Florida border, right?
I don't think he's going to make that. Somebody asked him if he was going to Seminole, and he's like, "Nah, I'm good. Too far out of the swamp."
Yeah, Cornbread. I want to call him Cornbread by accident, by default. But Conrad has become a fan favorite, man. So we're pulling for you this weekend, Conrad. Hope you do.
Dude, he got a shout out on Nike Live last night.
Yeah.
He's made it.
I heard Brian bring his name up.
Brian loves Conrad. That's one of his favorite pain points.
Yeah, I know Brian kind of not trolls, but creeps the KBN page. I see him in there sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, he trolls it.
Yeah.
He keeps his eyes on what's happening over here.
Somebody asked who's the favorite to win the 10. I'm saying
have to say Russ.
Yeah.
I mean, he's done it before. So
go out on a limb and say Russ Snyder's.
Any tournament that Russ is in, who do you think is the favorite to win? Probably Russ, I'd say.
Let me ask you this, because this is one thing I'm confused about with the multiple events on the same weekend. I understand why they do it from a logistics standpoint, but let's say Russ wins the 10, but somebody else wins the Saturday trail event. Another angler wins the Sunday trail event. Somebody different wins the 10 Invitational. How do you determine who is the winner of the weekend? Or you don't? You just say everybody's a winner.
Everybody's a winner, man. Everyone gets a trophy.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, in my mind, the 10 is the event that's happening down there. Everything else is kind of ancillary satellite, if you want to drive down and watch, but the 10's the big one.
I got you.
And in my opinion, the 10's probably the best thing that KBF does is that kind of elite event. Used to it had a huge online component, which I didn't like because you get guys that would rely solely on online fishing to compete in this, elite championship. But
right.
I think since they've weeded that out, I think that helps out a whole lot.
Yeah, good stuff. I'll be excited. Like I said, with Conrad going in there, I'm excited to flip over there and watch it. I think it's all on Fishing Chaos this time rather than our typical X deal. So
will this be the first run of multiple tournaments on the app?
Maybe, at least
from kayak fishing.
Yeah, I think so. So I'll be curious to see how that goes too. I mean, that guy was impressive when we had him on. So
yeah,
I think it'll go all right. But that'll be cool. Be cool to see how it goes. But yeah, man. Anything else? I think your boy Jordan, didn't he win a tournament this last weekend? Some locals are starting off.
Jordan says he's got his groove back. Marshall's got a new girlfriend. He's got his head straight. He says he's brand new, that he's taken back over Knoxville. Eric Thomason kind of ran the show last year, and Marshall says he's back. This is his city. He's not going to let Lambert beat him in the two biggest tournaments up there again. So,
all right,
welcome back.
I saw the super mullet holding those big smallie and largemouth up on Norris Lake, so that was cool to see. But John Allen, we're not going to acknowledge you're here yet, man. We're not in the comments yet, John. Chill.
Gosh, John's going ham tonight.
We'll get to the comments later. But yeah, we want to get these next guests in here. We've had a few people from different regional trails on. Texas, we've always said, is kind of its own region. So these guys are starting something new there, and we're excited to talk to them about it. So
let's do it.
Let's press pause, get a little word from our sponsor, and then we'll bring them in. KBN Live is brought to you by Western Sun Vodka. Western Sun Vodka is a 10 times distilled, award-winning, gluten-free vodka. They are independently owned and crafted in Pilot Point, Texas. All right, fellas, what's up? Welcome in Kris Morales and Joseph Sanderson to the KBN Live. Appreciate you, fellas.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man. You don't sound real excited, Kris.
Thank you so much.
No, and Kris is also known on the KBN group page as the Your Mom Pro Staff Director. I don't know if you guys know that.
We're looking to add some to our 300 plus members.
300 plus. Is there levels to that? The field staff first, or is it just straight into the main team?
Just straight into pros. We got to get this kayak thing rolling here.
Okay.
We're gonna start taking it serious.
I got you. Well, we're excited to have you guys in here. There's a lot of trails in Texas, but we wanted to have you on and let's just jump right into it and tell us how this came to be and what's different about this trail and what the need was for it there in Texas.
Yeah. So, Kris, I'll go first.
To
me, so for y'all that don't know, I directed the Cats Trail last year, and it was awesome. It was great. ACK has done so much for the sport down here in Texas, especially Central Texas. But I left the season feeling like there was a little bit of a void, and that void was a higher stakes, kind of higher poker type trail. and got together with Chris and Andrew Jacobson, who is not on here right now, and just kind of cultivated the idea of, hey, let's make a trail that is something different than the state of Texas has to offer right now. We have so many great trails: Southeast Texas Cats, San Antonio Kayak Fishing, East Texas, North Texas, West Texas. So I think there's 6 regional trails that are all in the $50 to $75 entry fee range. And we're like, hey, let's make something a little bit bigger and make it statewide. So that's where TKC, Texas Kayak Championship, kind of came from. $160 entry fee, and we're going to all regions of the state. And we'll get to the schedule, I'm sure, here in just a minute. But it kind of makes it to where people from North Texas, from East Texas, from South Texas can all come and fish, at least 3 of the events that we're requiring to qualify for the championship. So higher stakes and kind of, statewide, and trying to fill that void that Texas has or had in the past tense in the kayak tournament scene. So, yeah.
What was Cats like? What's the differentiators between the Cats trail and this trail?
Yeah, so Cats last year was very central Texas, Austin located. For our championship, we went a little bit farther away, but Cats is, in the past we've gone to the Palestines up in North Texas, to the OHIVs kind of in West Texas, to the Rayburns out in East Texas, but that has kind of drawn back in, sucked back into the Austin area. And now we are going more statewide again with TKC, and once again, upping the stakes as well. So entry fee and payout is one of the biggest things. And then also just, the regions that we're going to be fishing are much more widespread as well. So those are the 2 main differences.
So what was the did you guys reach out and talk to any of the different tournament trail directors that you guys were doing this, or did you spring it on them, or y'all working together on this? How did that go? Was it or in other words, was it received well by them? I didn't think you were trying to come in and do anything on top of their trails.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of scheduled around it. Like I run Southeast Texas, and then we're friends with the new Cats director, and then Duke, of course, up north, and we made sure to avoid as many like overlapping of tournaments that we could. Of course, with so many tournaments, I think there's a tournament every weekend from now through June, so it's impossible to not overlap at some point. But yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything negative or anything. So like we kind of let everyone else put their schedule out, and then we kind of came in with this one at the end. So
yeah, I think it's been very well received statewide. We've got people up in North Texas that are very excited about it. Southeast Texas, is very excited about it as well. Heck, the Cats tournament director, he said that TKC is the only trail that he's going to fish personally this year as well. So, all of the dates are separate. We're not fishing on any date that another Texas trail is running a tournament. So, I mean, I think that there is room for everyone, especially, with this being just kind of a different level of tournament. So.
Is there any kind of membership fee, anything like that, or are these all just opens?
No, all just opens this first year. We didn't really focus a whole lot on sponsorships or anything. It's more of just all the money is going to the pot, and then a handful goes to the AOI pot, a handful goes to the championship pot, and then of course you got Tourney X fees. So.
That was my next question. You guys are using Tourney X, right?
Yeah.
Answer me this: what have Cats, for example, and maybe you had a hand in this, Joseph, was kind of a late adopter of that whole online tournament management system. What was the resistance down there to that happening in south? I guess that'd be Southeast Texas.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things. So we've been using Tourney X for cats for the last at least 2, maybe 3 years now. Before that, I think the resistance was just the camaraderie, I guess. People really love to get together and hang out at the, weigh in and all that stuff. But it got to the point to where, we were pulling 66 people was the biggest cats tournament that we had. And it took 3.5 hours to, judge the fish and pick the winner and all that stuff. And it just got to the point to where we kind of outgrew being able to do that. And, looking nationwide, we got to keep up with the times. And, here we are, and Tourney X is here. And, iAngler for those trails that use that, and online scoring systems, are just kind of the thing now. And especially with COVID too, that's a huge thing, because you can, run a tournament and have a tournament in a safe space and score the fish virtually. Kris isn't even going to be at any of the tournaments. Well, he's not slated to be. If he wants to show up, of course he can, but he's going to be scoring all the fish from, the comforts of his own home and stuff. And it's, a great thing. And we're excited to have, Tourney X to use for TKC. And I know it's been a great thing for cats for the last couple of years as well.
Yeah. I always found that odd, because cats was the series, at least in Arkansas. I know the Tennessee boys don't look west of the Mississippi, but we looked at cats as like the series. You know what I mean? Like, to try to model around. You guys were pulling big numbers 10 years ago. So it was kind of funny that it was late to the online management game, but now everybody in Texas is using it, if I understand it right?
Yeah, there's some version of the online scoring system. I think North Texas might still be using iAngler.
Other than Duke.
Yeah, Duke. iAngler. He's sticking with Michael. He's a good guy. We got a YouTube comment coming in. Somebody's asking, are electric motors going to be allowed in TKC?
Yes, they are.
Yes, they are.
Southeast Texas is allowing them this year too, but kind of once again, just trying to keep up with the times. Like Bassmaster, like the KBF tournaments, we're going to allow them. We're not going to allow trolling with the trolling motors, with the electric motor, but they will be allowed for getting from point A to point B to point C.
Pretty standard regulations on those?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nothing wild like triple saltwater motors or anything?
No, we're not going to allow that torpedo.
I did see
or any of the 2.3 horsepower.
Who was it? Robert Morton. I don't know.
2.3 horsepower engines.
Texas guy down here. He mounted an Altera to the back of his PA already. So.
Okay. Yeah, Robert's always on the cutting edge. Has he still got that mobile garage that he drives around with?
I don't know what he's got now. I know he's got a massive boat garage that he built and then got rid of his boat. So.
Ryan, back in the day before the kick-up fins, Robert Morton down at the original TOC saved everybody that had a Hobie, because he had that big mobile garage, and I think he fixed 30-something Mirage drives down there. Good dude.
Thank God for kick-up fins.
That's right. Lake Fork used to eat everybody's props and fins.
I think what was it down in Louisiana? They used to have quite a fit with the stumps down there too. At the big, where was the KBF Open down there?
Was it Caddo?
No, that was the national championship. What's the one they had the big Open on every year, Jeff, in the fall?
They used to have Toledo Bend.
Scotch used to win the damn thing. Yeah, Toledo Bend. Yeah.
And at the Bend.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, most lakes in Texas will eat your drives up. Aside from once you get more central Texas, West Texas, it's more clear, deep water. But anything east, southeast, north, it's full of stumps and trees and grass and everything else. So.
Piney woods.
Yeah.
Get after it for sure.
Okay, Joseph, Katie's all over you for moving your phone. I don't know if you can see the comment. I'll throw the comment up there.
A horse eating a carrot, like right against the microphone. I've been cracking up. Like
I'm pulled over in a Bank of America parking lot right now.
Appreciate it, man. We appreciate it.
There's a lot going on here. We're lucky we're even on this thing.
Hey, does anyone know if Clifton Allen is banned from Facebook? Because he's watching on YouTube.
He is.
Okay,
No, he is banned
I
from
believe so.
Facebook.
he's
I
on
haven't seen
YouTube.
him post lately. So.
Yeah, he's in the YouTube comments, so he found a
Yeah.
way. He
I
found a way.
think John's trying to take up the slack here in the comment section. We also had a guy that asked if this new tournament series that just announced that they were using Tourney X would be migrating to Fishing Chaos. I don't know why they would announce Tourney X to plan to migrate to Fishing Chaos. I don't think a lot of tournament trails are planning to do that at all.
No, and not now, and probably not in the near future either. And I've talked to those guys. Like I said, I run the local trail down here, and they've contacted me about running it. But the way I do the payouts and stuff, it makes it so much easier the way I have it set up with Tourney X right now. And I won't
Pretty
go into
simple
too much
if you know how to
detail
run a
about it, just in
PayPal
case
account.
Man,
the feds are watching, but
no disrespect to anyone, but I
The
don't even know-
feds.
I don't even know what Fishing Chaos is. So I
Hey,
think,
that's fine, Joseph. Yeah, probably better.
Yeah,
off.
you're fine. Yeah, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
yeah. The central guys are still getting used to not using digital cameras, so I don't want to hit them with too many changes right now. So
Yeah,
They used to do like hand sketches of their fish or something, didn't they? And how they
Yeah.
did weigh-ins.
yeah, it was like a chisel and a rock, I think, and they would like.
Hieroglyphics. all that good
somebody
stuff.
asked about trolling. I'm gonna throw that comment up there. So why can't you troll with an electric motor when you can do it with a pedal drive? I'm assuming you can't do that with a pedal drive either. Is that y'all's rule?
No, we're gonna allow trolling with the pedal drive.
Oh,
You know, I'm not a big proponent of trolling in general, personally. But I know that a lot of people are. You still got to be able to, read a map and read your graph, I guess. But if you could just kick on your trolling motor and turn it on 5 power and just hold a rod out the side, you at least got to put a little effort into it and kick your legs or, paddle your kayak or something, I guess. So that's why we're not allowing trolling with the trolling motor. It just seems like, I think trolling's a little bit too easy in general, but trolling with the trolling motor is, way too easy. And there's a reason that, that Bassmaster and FLW and whatever, that they don't allow trolling, with trolling in general, but trolling with a trolling motor as well. So that's my take on it. Just a little bit, even too easy, and you got to put a little bit of effort into it. So
we got a guy here that does well in the monthly onlines, basically running a spider rig with his motorized kayak.
yeah, we are allowing only one rod in the
Yeah.
water at a time too, so we won't have any outriggers or anything like that. People running 4 crankbaits behind them, so got to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah. So what are you guys thinking numbers wise? It sounds like the response has been good in the comments. There's a lot of Texas folks talking about they're excited. So what are you guys thinking numbers wise for your first event? Next week, right? First event.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Little under 2 weeks.
Yeah, and
But-
I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. I think that we're shooting for 50 people a tournament. If we get 50 people a tournament, we're going to be paying out 10 grand in the championship, guaranteed. So that's what we're shooting for. I think that's kind of the baseline. I would not be surprised if we saw close to 100 people at the first tournament at Fayette. Fayette's a fan favorite. It's a power plant lake down here. When all the other lakes are still in winter mode, Fayette's spawning. I think last weekend at the Southeast Texas trail, the water temp was in between 63 and 67 degrees. So a lot of people like to get out and fish that lake, and we're hopeful for big numbers.
Yeah, we had 91 this past Saturday at Fayette. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's between 80 to 100 at Fayette. It's just a big draw lake. It's super kayak friendly. It's 2,000 acres, warm. Fish are deep, fish are shallow, fish are in trees. Not a whole lot of grass, but you can go flip reeds if you want. But and on top of that, there's usually about 150 boats that are just out there fishing too. So it gets pounded on, but there's every fish is 18 to 20 inches. So
So there's that schedule, boys. So let's I want to hear John and Clifton call your shots. Which events are you going to show up and clean house at?
Let me throw that schedule back on top for everybody. Fayette, is it Palestine or Palestine? How do you say it?
Depends on
Palestine.
Palestine. It's not a place in the Middle East then. Palestine. Hubbard Creek, Belton, Amistad. And where's the championship? TBD or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get a vote. I'll put them on like Livingston or something, some horrible lake.
I hear Louisville in June is really good.
Yeah, I might do that just to make up for the missing of the classic there. So.
Heard the turnout for 2022, but guess we'll see. So I'll go and run through my take on the schedule. Kris can follow up. So Fayette Power Plant Lake, that's probably one of the most well-known lakes here in Texas. It generally takes high 90s to win. Fan favorite. You'll be able to catch them spawning, post-spawn, pre-spawn, whatever you want to do. It's going to be great. Palestine is the next one. It's kind of a cool deal because the MLF is going to be going there the week before we're there. And everyone will kind of know the patterns and all that stuff. Palestine's a big fish lake. It also is a very early spawning lake. So we're going there at the end of February, and those fish will more than likely be on beds there. And it's not a power plant lake. They spawn in, high 50s, low 60-degree water there. I think 2 years ago, a guy from they had a North Texas trail there, Chris Shaddle, and he caught a 12.5 pounder. It was like 26.5 or 27 inches on a drop shot, like 3 feet of water. So
wow,
we're hoping to see some big stringers there. They live there for sure.
That'll bend a catch board.
Yeah,
that will.
That's a hoss.
That'll even bend the carbonite probably right there.
So moving on from that one is probably the biggest wild card of a tournament that we have on the schedule, Hubbard Creek. It's a lake that's about an hour and a half west of Fort Worth. It has hydrilla growing in 25, 30 feet of water out there. You can go way up the river and get into muddy water and flip trees. You can go out in the main lake and be fishing in 25 feet of water. Y'all know that I'm good buddies with Guillermo. Last spring, I got so annoyed. I was at work and got so many calls from him, and I'm like, what's up, G? How can I help you? And he's like, oh man, I just caught like an 8-pounder at Hubbard. And I'm like, oh sweet, dude. And 2 hours later, oh dude, I just saw like an 11-pounder on a bed at Hubbard Creek. And I don't know. So a lot of the North Texas guys are very excited about that tournament. Should be some really big stringers that come there or that come out of there. And not a lot of people know about that lake outside of the North Texas guys. So really excited about that one. Moving on from that, we're going down to Belton. It's one of the only smallmouth fisheries that we have here in the state of Texas. So we should see some largemouth, some smallmouth. It'll be post-spawn. I think it's going to be a topwater showdown. I could be wrong, but that'll be a fun tournament there. A lot of big boat tournaments go there as well. So it'll be fun to fish a lake that not a lot of kayak tournaments have been held on, but a lot of boat tournaments have been held on. And then after that, the battle on the border, Lake Amistad. Everyone knows about Lake Amistad. Even for the guys that fish it a lot, it's going to be a little bit different this year. The lake is 45 feet low right now, last time I checked. So, a lot of places that some guys would normally fish are probably going to be out of the water. So I was down there in December doing a little bit of hunting, and the lake is very healthy, lots of hydrilla. The water looks great. It's just way smaller than it normally is. So that'll be a lot of fun. I know that a lot of people love Amistad. Scotch is a huge fan of Amistad. And the San Antonio guys make it down there quite a bit too. So I think the entire trail, it's different, lots of different regions being touched. And I think that we're going to hit all of the lakes at very good times for each one of the lakes. If we were to, switch Amistad and, Belton per se, it would fish completely different. So we're excited about the timing. We're excited about where we're going as well.
More touching is always good. That's always the right approach. Andy Middleton said, does the Devil's River flow into Amistad?
Yes, it does.
There you go, Andy. Trivia.
We haven't defined boundaries there, but there will be a limit of how far up the Devil's Arm you can go. There's a pretty good little shelf where the river actually drops off into the lake. That'll probably be the boundary. We haven't discussed it yet, but the Devil's River, not to segue too much, but that's probably my favorite fishery in the entire country. It's absolutely incredible. So if y'all get the chance to do that trip, most definitely do that.
What kind of time frame to do the Devil's River? Doesn't that take a significant amount of time? Because it's not like you can take out along the way, if I understand it right.
Yeah, the private landowners are big sticklers down there. So it depends on how long of a float you want to do. You can do, it's split up into segments. So you have miles 0 to 15, 15 to 30, and then 30 all the way down to Rough Canyon, which is like mile 47. And Rough Canyon is the only public takeout. Well, let me back up. The put-in at Baker's Crossing is mile 0, and the next public takeout is mile 47 at Rough Canyon. If you're going to take out at mile 15 or mile 30, you got to hire an outfitter, and that's through the Devil's River State Natural Area, and you got to jump through a bunch of hoops and all that stuff. But if you want to do it completely DIY, you need to do the entire 47 miles from Baker's Crossing all the way down to Rough Canyon, which is actually on Lake Amistad. So if you're to do mile 0 to 15, you can do that in 2 days. Mile 0 to 30, it's typically a 3 to 4 day trip, depending on how much ground you want to cover. And if you want to do the entire 47 miles, 4 to 6 days, depending on how much ground you want to cover. So
that's crazy.
It'd be awesome. I know it's on a lot of bucket lists. You talked about doing that, didn't you, Ryan, at some point?
I mean, I would love to get a trip like that up, get a few guys to go out and, have a good time. I don't know. We may have to float an empty boat behind us to haul the coolers and stuff, but have a good trip.
Yeah, that'd be fun. It's on my list. I just don't know if I can. I don't know if I'm too much of a wimp these days. I don't know. I have to bring a lot of Tylenol and ibuprofen.
It's not a trip for the faint of heart. That is for
sure.
Man. The rapids,
a lot of portaging and dragging your kayak over stuff.
Yeah. No,
shitting in a bag and carrying it on a kayak.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Good times. Good times.
Wow.
So I'll just stick to the muddy water over here.
The muddy water. That's what they call it. Yeah. So awesome schedule, Joseph. I mean, geez. I don't know what else to say about it. Texas is full of legendary lakes anyway, so I'm sure it wasn't hard to put together a small schedule like that and put together an elite series. Was there any that were left out that people complained about?
Of course.
I mean,
Levon.
Levon, yeah, we just saw that a minute ago.
Always.
People have their home lakes that they for sure would love to see on there. One lake that I really wanted to see on there that probably not a lot of people know about is Lake of the Pines. It's a lake out in East Texas. Hope to have that one on there next year. But we just really focused on going to lakes, with the exception of Fayette, that not a lot of kayak tournaments are held on, that also touch all of the regions of Texas. So that's how we came up with the schedule. They're all great fisheries. We didn't really put a tough fishery on there. We wanted to see a lot of big numbers, a lot of fish caught, get the hype going, keep the hype up about it, and hopefully put lakes on there that we could draw even some newbies to the kayak scene that really want to dive in head first and get them out there and catch a few fish. So I think everyone's pretty happy, pretty stoked on the schedule. Even got a few people from out of state that are going to try to make it down to a tournament or two, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, what's crazy is even with the schedule we have, we left out a lot of the staples, right? Like the Forks, Rayburns, Toledo Bend, Conroes, like big lakes everyone is aware of in Texas. It's just goes to show you the quality of fishing here. So Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like I said, it's a lot of lakes that I don't fish. I don't even fish at all, as you can see from the photo you guys grabbed of me there.
I had to dig for it, man. I had to grab something
Yeah,
out of your pics. I
That's
should have asked you.
good. At least I know my privacy settings are pretty good. So
Yeah.
Fishing's
Yeah.
overrated, man. I don't.
Yeah.
We're just here to hang out anyway.
That's
yeah,
right.
that's all it is.
As our boy
I know,
Clifton would say, there's a lot of perception anglers, so it's okay.
Perception anglers. That's hilarious. And a lot of people thought that was a slight on the company. Is the funny
Yeah,
the funny
brand.
part.
The brand. No, not at all. Not at all. Too funny.
Speaking of brand, what brand of hat are you wearing? That's a question
Brand of
that's
hat I'm
popping up here.
That's a break line. Break
I don't know
line
if that
fishing.
I don't know if that was a setup or what. Christopher Delgado threw that out
Oh
there.
yeah, probably. It's just a little thing I do that helps. I do some jerseys and apparel just on the side to help fund my local trail without having to come out of pocket for anything. So
Nice.
it allows me to pay for food to cook at all the events and provide some raffle items and all that stuff. So
Awesome.
That's good stuff. So let us know this, guys. We all know, Joseph travels around and does well in national tournaments. We know Guillermo, Scotch, Brian Howell. There's a handful of other folks that leave Texas and do good nationally. But who in Texas that doesn't really travel and leave are the hammers or the threats that you guys see taking up some money in this thing?
I think this trail is going to sort that out, because there are tons of sticks here that may not be able to travel nationally, whether it's from family or finances or from jobs or whatever it is. But ones who don't fish nationally, I would say Jacob Moeller is probably up there on a guy who can compete anywhere and catch fish anywhere. I mean, there's a few. Jeremiah Smith probably can do good everywhere. Andrew Dixon, several guys up north. I mean, we got a couple guys in our local trail, Ruben Martinez, Michael Morgan, that don't really leave the area. I mean, there's so many guys. It's
I've got a few. Most of the guys nationally probably don't know him, but like Chris mentioned, Jacob Moeller is going to be a force to be reckoned with. The guy is meticulous. He studies every detail of everything. He's going to be fishing some of the Hobie trails this year. So look out for him, not only in this trail, but also nationally. Adam Eslak is another guy out of San Antonio who's, a great angler. Tyler Howell is another San Antonio guy. Jeff Isham, I don't know exactly how you say his last name, but he's a great angler. Ruben Martinez as well. Tony Sebrin, if he ends up making it out to any of these. Armando Saucedo out of Austin, Jeremiah out of Austin, Jeremiah Smith. There's a few of them that have kind of stayed local for the past few years, but I think we're getting ready to have, I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year or a couple years down the road, but there's going to be a big handful of Texas anglers that start branching out from just the Texas scene and go nationally or go national. And I hope the hope in my eyes is that the TKC is, maybe another stepping stone towards the national level trails, the higher buy-ins and all that stuff. That's definitely not the goal of it, but I hope that that's a benefit of it as well.
I like that. I think we all have, in our states, people that are like that don't really get to travel, but I think Texas is just at another level with the sheer numbers of anglers that you guys have.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many good guys, and I mean, you can probably pick 10 guys from each regional trail and throw it against the wall and be fine with any of them.
Here's another thing. There's a big crew of original Cats guys. They call themselves the OGs, and I think that the OGs this year might make a little bit of an appearance as well. Ryan Herzog, Marcus Villanueva. If Chris Siebenthaler decides to come back out, Bobby LaBouffe, I'm sure y'all have probably heard some of those names from times past. And I think they might be making a comeback this year. We'll have
my,
to see.
yeah.
Man, Siebes was gonna fish this weekend actually, but he had like emergency at work, and I was looking forward to that. I was hoping to come out there and take all them young kids' money. But
Do the OGs have like leather vests with patches or anything to identify
they roll up their
themselves? Or
sleeves and put their cigarette packs in there.
they have 1% tattooed anywhere on them? Do you think?
And I mean, all jokes aside, those guys are some of the guys that really kickstarted the Cats Trail and made it what it is, and put Texas on the map and really put kayak tournament fishing on the map. And I don't think those guys get enough credit. Everyone hears about them and knows about them, but don't really know all of the legwork and the time and effort that they put into making, at least in Texas and really nationally, what kayak tournament fishing is today. So I hope that they come out, and I hope that they get a lot of recognition and stuff. And I think it would be really good for the sport to have all those guys, back and, making a splash and what our game is today.
Hey, what does Steve Garcia still fish with you guys down there?
Oh, Steve, I forgot about him, man.
Yeah.
Up until like 2 years ago, I didn't see him fish last year.
Because he was a hammer. Ryan, you may not even know this tournament existed, but the first big tournament I ever went to, the first large, I shouldn't say it wasn't even a big numbers tournament. It was the first high level tournament. Was an event hosted by an organization with the initials PKA.
What?
It was the Professional Kayak Anglers Association or something like that. And it was on Lake Fork. It was the very first Tournament of Champions. And a lot of those guys you guys just mentioned from down South Texas came up to that. But Steve Garcia won that. And that's where I met him and some of those other folks. And I haven't heard much from him the last few years.
Yeah. Steve's around. For sure. He fished a couple Cats events last year, but he's definitely slowed down a little bit. He's not really on the social media game either. So he kind of keeps quiet. Whenever he shows up, everyone is like, "Oh boy, Steve G's here. Better watch out." So hope he makes a comeback. And I think he might have had a few personal things going on that he had to take care of. I don't really know the extent of it, but hope that all of those are handled and he makes a comeback. So
yeah, that's always a name I remember from back. I guess it's been 8-9 years ago, but I haven't seen it lately. So good to hear he's coming back around. Dwayne Wally in the comments, he was one of our Wildy guys. He was on the Wilderness team.
Yeah,
back when that was a thing.
Yeah, pretty much everybody was on the Wilderness team there at one time.
Some new lemon stuff.
Oh, you got your hands on some of that already?
Oh man,
let's go.
Just topping it off over here. Don't mind me.
Yeah,
I'm on Monster Energy tonight. I indulged in too many of those Western Sun Moscow Mules last night, and that was a bad call on my part.
Ryan's building his resistance up all the way to the year-end show, so he can down the whole bottle on the year-end.
No, he is
the
not.
big bottle, like the really big.
Instead of the 3/4 bottle, he's getting the whole thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, no, that's the little bottle. I'm down with that. I can handle that. But,
just long arm it and make it look like a giant bottle and shoot it down.
Yeah, just like my fish.
Yeah, hold them out there.
Get a long straw.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. It's been a good conversation. We appreciate you guys coming on here. I want to ask a few more things before we wrap it up here in 10 minutes or so. And that is just fishing related, to you individually, especially Joseph. I don't know if Kris even fishes the way he was talking, but Joseph, I kind of look at you like I don't know, man, like a special forces angler. You fly into these tournaments on like a Friday night and then cash checks, fly home, and next thing you know, you're in the TOC and you're up there in the top 10. Explain at least your 2020 season and how you pull that off and make that happen for these big tournaments.
Yeah. Well, this might be a little bit too much information, but I really decided to start fishing the Hobie Trail whenever my girlfriend and I broke up. Kind of freed up a lot of time on weekends and stuff. So
that saved Marshall's season too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
So I was like, yeah, so let's get after this. And work last year, I only had 5 days of PTOs my first year back with my company, and work. Had to do what we had to do. So I was like, all right, well, let's catch a flight Friday and fly in and AJ was great to hook me up with kayak, and Christine and Guillermo were great to hook me up with a few rods, and I brought 2 Plano boxes of tackle on the plane with me, and did a lot of internet scouting and YouTube videos and all that stuff, or whatever that's worth. And it's like, all right, well, let's go and do a few spots and try to go fish, and fish harder than everyone else, make more casts than everyone else, and try to make up for the lack of knowledge that I might have on the fishery. And that's kind of what happened. At the Mississippi River, did well, did an 18-mile float on the first day, and kind of figured out a pattern and figured out where I wanted to focus the next day, and fished half a day on Sunday, and drove back to Minneapolis and flew out and got the call from AJ, hey, you're in the money, while I was going through security. I was like, okay, well, that's cool, let's try that again. And to the Susky, and just pick really community hole there. I fished below a dam, and that ended up working out, and same deal. And I was like, all right, well, one more, and let's make the TOC. And went down to the Coosa chain, and really missed a bunch of big fish at the Coosa chain that maybe could have made a run at AOY. That's a big comment, but it was incredible. And the TOC, got to fish in the same area as Ryan, and dumped in a few good fish, and felt lucky to catch 11 keepers my entire time at the TOC, and made it happen. And so that was fun, and I'm really excited to do it again this year. I'm gonna try to drive to at least 3 events, maybe get a day or 2 of practice in, and fly into 3 more events, and cross my fingers and see what happens.
I think you and Ryan is like this at a lot of events too. You guys are, I've always talked about an official practice period and against these people that get 2 weeks at a lake or a week, but you're like the flag flying that it doesn't matter. Like you can just show up a day or 2 before and make it happen still.
I mean, I think pre-fishing is definitely a big factor, but I don't think it is the only factor. I mean, I think you can, if you do a little bit of homework and have a little bit of luck. I mean, honestly, you don't know what fish are going to bite when you get out there on tournament day anyway. So you definitely have to have some good graces going your way. But I mean, I don't think it's going to knock anybody out. I think if you're supposed to be catching them, then all you got to do is show up on tournament day.
Yeah. To me, it's one of those things, like, I know that I'm going to have to make up for the lack of knowledge that I have that comes without pre-fishing. So whenever I go to a new lake or something, I just know that I have to put my head down and fish harder than everyone and make more casts than everyone else to make up for that lack of knowledge. And, that's just my thought process. I'm a power fisherman. I can't finesse stuff very well. I don't like sitting there and, dragging a jig along the bottom. Give me a spinnerbait, give me a crankbait, give me a topwater, and let's go make, more casts than everyone else in the tournament and fish for those hungry fish. So that's my mindset going into those tournaments blind. Worked out this year. We'll see if it does next year.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good stuff. It's encouraging to see that happen, where folks that can't get the amount of time off that they need, if they can make that mental adjustment, they can still go out there and make it happen.
Absolutely.
And I had one question, because I know I've been trying to talk Ryan into coming to the Broken Bow event for the Hobie BOS. I don't know if he's gonna make the trip over there, but I've become pretty good friends with Guillermo over the years, and he told me a story about you on Broken Bow, and I think a 12-pounder. Is that right?
Yeah, it was 12.8 is what that fish went. It was pretty funny. I was up there for my buddy's bachelor party actually, and we both drug our boats up there. He had like a bay boat, and I had my old 1987 bass boat, my old boat, and we're like, all right, well, we're gonna go out on the lake and go cliff jumping and go have a big time and whatnot, and of course we're gonna fish too. So we went way up river and we're fishing around, and I think I had 3 guys on my boat, and between the three of us, we had 5 fish in the boat, and the biggest one was maybe 11 inches long, maybe. I mean, just tiny fish. and we're like, this lake sucks. Like, this is terrible. Like, let's just go and, go drink some beers and, jump off some more cliffs. And we're like, all right, well, let's go fish this one point, on the way to go do that. And first cast, like, as they were picking up their rods, I'd hang into this fish. I'm like, oh man, like, I think this is like a 3 or 4 pounder. This is like a big fish. We're, hyped, whatever. And this fish comes up, and I mean, I can't explain it. It was like a 5-gallon bucket coming out of the water from its mouth. And I mean, got it in the net, we're freaking out. So we caught 6 fish that day, 5 11 inchers and a 12.5 pounder.
How you do
It
it?
was, crazy day of fishing, but that lake has them. Yeah, I've talked to those North Texas guys, and they've gone up there and, had 60, 70 fish days, all between 16 and 20 inches. So that lake grows them. It has them. You hear about a 12, 13, 14 pounder or 3 or 4 coming out of there every single year. So it'll be fun. It's got smallmouth. It's got largemouth. You can fish upriver and fish in dirtier water. You can fish in main lake and fish in, 20-foot clarity. So, another one of those lakes that kind of has whatever you want.
See there, Ryan? We got good lakes over this way.
Are you claiming Oklahoma now?
No.
I mean, what?
over this way. Outside of Texas. It's pretty close to the border, though. Not that far from here.
If I can line up a turkey hunt, if we can line up a turkey hunt down there, I'll make that one.
It is in the Ouachita Mountains. I don't know if that makes a difference to you, Ryan.
It does.
Ryan doesn't have fond memories of Ouachita.
I put like $400 worth of batteries in my truck and Ouachita.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous lake, great scenery. I think it will fall during turkey season too. Lots of public land in Oklahoma, so if y'all want to double dip with that one, that would be a great one to do that.
We've got a place that we hunt out that way. My buddy just got back from duck hunting out there a couple weeks ago, but we're trying to make that happen. I'd like to just take 1 week and kill, so to speak, 2 birds with 1 stone.
Gotcha. Well, Hey, Chris, you got anything you want to shout out before we get out of here, man, about your local trail or anything else coming up with TKC?
No, man. Local trails, Southeast Texas. That's about it. I mean,
Yeah.
Next tournament's on Rayburn, February 20th. But like I said, we've been fortunate enough to be successful in the few years we've been around. And, usually average 70 or so per tournament.
All right.
And, we always start off on Fayette to hit, it's usually 90 to 100 just because it's Fayette. It's kind of centrally located for everyone. So, well, at least for Central and Southeast guys, like, Houston area, right? We don't have very many options that are real close by in the Houston area. I mean, plenty of reds and specs if you want to go saltwater, but that's not my thing. I don't like cleaning my gear or ruining my stuff. So
I got you.
That dirty old Galveston water, have to cut your leg off.
It's aggressive.
Yeah. Man,
No, there's always some beef between the saltwater guys here. It's funny.
We appreciate y'all coming on here, man. It sounds like y'all have big things happening in Texas with the championships. My wife and I have been kicking around the idea for a couple of weeks now about eventually moving down to Texas. So you're giving me more of a reason to come down there.
Texas is full right now.
Texas.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think all of California
it's
moved
good
there,
if
didn't
you
it?
don't want to move down here.
No, that's more the Austin area. You don't want to move to Houston. Houston's sucks. I promise.
We're looking more
I'm only here
DFW
for work. So.
Yeah.
Jeff's about to launch his rap career. He's moving to Houston to try to get some clout.
No, I think there's good senior living communities down there. That's where I'm heading.
A nice desert golf course.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No, the hill country is nice. I'd live in the hill country if I could, but like I said, I got transferred out here for work from Las Vegas of all places, and I miss home sometimes, especially during summer when it's like 100 degrees and 100% humidity. But strip clubs just aren't the same either. But
Oh my!
I'll just have to live with it. So
It is what it is. Yeah,
it is what it is. I'm a family man now, anyways. So
there you go. Keep it that way with none of those clubs.
that's why I don't fish, by the way.
You can. Ryan, you got anything else for us, brother?
No, I mean locally here we've got a Tennessee Valley Kayak Anglers event Saturday, Lake-wide Chickamauga event. So we're going to get out and hopefully we will catch a couple of those cold water girls swimming around, and then we'll be heading to the BOS on Seminole the next week. I'm looking forward to getting down there. Shane and Dave went down and beat them up pretty good pre-fishing, so I'm hoping they sore lip all their fish again this year.
Yeah, I saw some pics they posted. It looked just like last year. It's deja vu.
It is, isn't it? It
Yeah.
is. I can't wait. I can't wait to get back down there. I'm hoping I can put together 2 days worth of fish is my goal for this year.
Good stuff. I'll be watching until March. I don't have anything until March, so
You'll be with us in our hearts, Jeff. I want you.
I'll be cheering for you. I'll be cheering for all you guys.
Are you coming? Are
one
you
last-
coming to that one, Joseph?
Go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm not. That's actually I think that's the one tournament that we scheduled on top of a BOS event.
Gotcha.
So that'll be our first tournament at Fayette. I'm going to stay here local for that one. I think my first BOS event is going to be Broken Bow, and then planning on hitting Rayburn, Dardanelle, Mississippi, the Susky, Pickwick, and then hopefully between those we'll qualify for the TOC. So
Nice.
But I would love to fish Seminole. I just don't think it's in the cards this year.
I got you. It'll be a good time for sure. It's a fun little hangout at Big Jim's. Anybody coming in for the tournament, look up Big Jim's. That's where we'll be pretty much every night.
Good stuff. All right. Well, good luck, everybody, this weekend coming up, and we'll try to rustle up another guest next week. Are we trying to get Addison on next week, Ryan?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and write that down in stone. Addison Johnson. He's the artist behind the Lunch Money Lambert theme song. But Addison's he's a local kayak angler here out of Nashville. He's also a country singer. He's been doing that for a while, and he's got his new album coming out. So he's going to come on and tell us, how he got started in both those avenues of his life, and I'm sure it'll be an interesting story. He's quite the character.
Good stuff, man. All right. Thank y'all for watching, and we'll see everybody next week. Thanks again, fellas.
Appreciate it, guys.